The movie begins with Noah at the airport, preparing to travel to her friend Jenna's wedding. Jenna is marrying Lion, who happens to be Nick's friend. While walking through the terminal, Noah spots Nick's photo on the cover of Forbes magazine and realizes that he's now famous, a successful businessman who's making headlines everywhere. She boards her flight, but accidentally bumps into a man named Simon, spilling his coffee all over his clothes. Noah apologizes quickly, and Simon forgives her with a smile, introducing himself. When they land safely in Ibiza, Simon catches up with Noah and asks if they can share a taxi. But Noah tells him she's waiting for her friend, who's picking her up in a luxury car. And she makes it clear she's not interested in meeting poor people. Simon laughs and tells her that if they ever meet again, she'll owe him a cup of coffee, one they'll drink together before walking away. At that moment, Jenna arrives in her extravagant G-Class, and they drive together to the luxurious estate where Jenna and Lion's wedding will take place. There, Noah meets Jenna's relatives, who are all very friendly, while Jenna busily oversees the wedding preparations herself. Soon after, Noah is stunned to learn that Jenna has chosen Nick to be her groomsman alongside Noah. The news leaves Noah shocked. She hasn't seen Nick in a long time since their relationship ended badly. Later, Noah puts on her dress and joins the festivities, only to be taken aback when Nick steps out of a car looking incredibly handsome. Flustered, Noah quietly slips away, hiding so he won't notice her. A bit later, Jenna introduces her cousin Maxwell to Noah. Her plan is for Nick to see Noah with another man, hoping it'll spark some jealousy. As Noah chats politely with Maxwell, Nick suddenly appears, interrupting their conversation to greet Maxwell, leaving Noah feeling awkward and certain that Nick did it on purpose. Afterward, Noah goes to sit with Lion's younger brother, who seems quite taken with her, but she gently tells him it's better if they stay friends, gives him a friendly kiss on the cheek, and walks away. Time passes, and after a while, Noah sees Nick walking toward her. She thinks he's coming to talk to her, but instead he walks right past as if she doesn't exist. Later, when the celebration moves to another venue, the wedding planner asks Noah to ride with Nick in the same car, which only adds to her embarrassment. During the silent drive, Noah opens the window to get some fresh air, but Nick stubbornly rolls it back up. That moment sparks a small rivalry between them, each trying to have the final say. Eventually, they arrive at the open courtyard where the wedding ceremony will be held, and the planner instructs Noah to stand next to Nick, a situation that's painfully awkward for both. If you're wondering why neither of them refuses, it's because they don't want to reveal to the guests that they used to be in a relationship. Besides, deep down, they still have feelings for each other, and this moment is just an excuse to be close again. Later that night, Lion's brother notices the tattoo on Nick's hand, and from afar, Noah sees it too. She realizes that Nick still hasn't removed it, a tattoo that means she hasn't forgotten her. If you don't remember, dear viewers, that tattoo was the one Nick got when Noah wrote "You're mine" on his hand. Time passes, and the official wedding ceremony begins. Finally, Jenna and Lion are declared husband and wife. Happily ever after, as they say. That night, Lion tells Nick about a waterfall in Sales where Hugh wants to spend his honeymoon with Jenna. But Nick warns him it's impossible to do anything under a waterfall because the water pressure is too strong. Later, during the dancing portion of the party, Noah dances with Lion while Jenna dances with Nick. But the newlywoods insist that Noah and Nick should dance together. As they get close on the dance floor, old emotions resurface between them. And when they step inside the mansion afterward, well, things go further from there. At the end of the day, Nick decides to leave Noah behind and walks away. As he's heading out, she tells him to turn off the light. And Nick is surprised to realize that Noah isn't afraid of the dark anymore. Time passes and Noah graduates from college. She works as a delivery driver, but gets injured in an accident and ends up in the hospital for treatment. There, we see Michael working as a doctor. The hospital director is investigating him for having a relationship with one of his students, something strictly forbidden in their profession. The director threatens that once the investigation is over, Michael will be dismissed from his position. Meanwhile, Nick is seen holding a board meeting in his London company. He's now a sharp, confident businessman, but also cold and ruthless. During the meeting, he instructs the board to lay off many employees to cut salary expenses. On the other hand, Noah crosses paths with Simon by chance, though she doesn't recognize him because he's wearing a helmet, and she walks away. Later, when she goes to apply for a new job in the tech field, she's surprised to discover that Simon is the CEO of the company she's applying to. Things go smoothly between them, and they start getting along well. Back to Jenna and Lion. Their honeymoon at the waterfall doesn't go as planned. The current is too strong, and Jenna ends up cursing Lion before storming off. Meanwhile, Nick has entered a relationship with Sophia. But it's clear their connection is based on mutual benefit rather than love. As time goes by, Noah's relationship with Simon grows stronger, and she becomes his personal assistant. In contrast, Nick's relationship with his father becomes strained. Many workers are protesting against Nick's unfair dismissals, and when one of them lashes out at Nick's father, the security guards attack him, an event that enrages the worker even more. Later, Nick watches the worker's interview on the news while the board warns him that his excessive layoffs could cause major problems for the company. Still, Nick refuses to back down and insists on his decision. A little later, while Nick is sitting with Sophia in an upscale cafe, he suggests that they make their relationship public in the press, saying it would benefit them both politically and economically. Sophia agrees. Meanwhile, Simon takes a walk with Noah, trying to express his feelings for her, but Noah tells him they shouldn't rush things, and Simone agrees. The next day, at Simon's company, the atmosphere is tense because a new investor who recently bought a large number of shares is about to arrive. To lighten the mood, Noah playfully interacts with Simon in front of the employees. But suddenly, Nick walks in, and Noah is stunned to realize that he's the new investor. Later in the office, Nick asks Simon to have Noah bring him a cup of coffee, which clearly annoys Simon since he has feelings for her. The following day, Nick notices how Simon treats Noah with kindness and warmth, which makes him feel jealous. A little later, while Noah is at the salon with Jenna, she spots a magazine headline announcing Nick and Sophia's relationship, which stirs her jealousy. At the same time, she runs into Michael and checks on him. He tells her that her brother Nick and his law firm are ruining him, and he asks her to stay out of it before walking away. Worried, Noah calls Sophia and pleads with her to leave Michael alone and not harm him any further. Back at the family home, Nick brings his younger sister, Maggie, over. Maggie resents their father and treats him coldly. Still bitter because years ago, William denied being her father and accused his wife of infidelity. With Noah's help, though, Maggie slowly begins to warm up to him. The real shock comes when Noah, feeling sick in the bathroom, realizes she might be pregnant. Dear viewers, the next day at the company, Nick issues a strict order forbidding any romantic relationships between employees. This infuriates Simon, who goes straight to Nick and confesses that he's in love with Noah. Meanwhile, Noah herself decides to resign and goes to Nick's office to hand in her resignation. But Nick, still feeling jealous and possessive, tries to get close to her again. Noah tells him that she's in a relationship with Simon and that she truly loves him. She's angry because Nick moves from one relationship to another freely, even publicly announcing his with Sophia, yet still expects her to belong to him, ready to come back whenever he calls. The next day, Nick's mother asks to talk to him. They sit down together, and she tearfully tells him that she's suffering from a serious illness, leukemia, and that her time is running out. She asks Nick to take care of Maggie and never leave her side since Maggie has no one else. Nick promises her he'll protect his little sister, visibly heartbroken by his mother's condition. Noah, who's there at the house with them, witnesses everything. Later that night, after they make sure Maggie is asleep, Nick asks Noah to stay with him because he doesn't want to be alone. Out of compassion, Noah agrees. The next morning, Nick wakes up to find that Noah has disappeared, and Maggie tells him she's left. Noah goes to the hospital to check on her health due to her frequent nausea, and the doctor informs her that she's 4 months pregnant. The pregnancy is risky, and she must take good care of herself. While she's there, Michael spots her and sneaks into the doctor's office to look at her medical file. That's when he discovers that Noah is indeed 4 months pregnant, 16 weeks to be exact. Think about that, dear viewers. Noah then goes to her friend Jenna and tells her everything. Jenna insists that Noah must tell Nick he's the father of the baby. We also learn that Noah is expecting a boy. Congratulations in advance. Dear viewers, Jenna urges Noah to stay with her at the villa, knowing she won't be able to take proper care of herself in her condition. Afterward, Jenna tells Lion that Noah is pregnant and that the baby belongs to Nick. She also explains that the pregnancy happened on their wedding day when Noah and Nick were paired as the bridesmaid and groomsmen. Meanwhile, Michael meets with Sophia at the hospital to strike a deal and share some critical information that Noah is pregnant with Nick's child, and the conception took place exactly 4 months ago on Jenna and Lion's wedding day. Michael threatens Sophia, saying he'll leak the story to the press. If the media finds out that Sophia's business partner had an affair with his half-sister and got her pregnant, both their reputations and their company's stock value would be destroyed. On the day of the partnership celebration between Nick and Simon, marking the merger of their companies, Sophia confronts Noah and tells her she knows about the pregnancy, advising her that it's best if Nick never finds out. Later, Nick asks Noah why she left him that morning after spending the night together, and she replies, "I didn't want to be abandoned twice." Bro! Shortly after, Nick notices how tired and pale Noah looks, so he insists on driving her home himself. Once there, he helps her to her room, clearly worried about her condition. Noah tells him that Sophia is a good woman and that he should focus on her because it's what's best for him. Noah's health deteriorates, and soon after, we see her being rushed through the hospital on a stretcher. Then comes a funeral scene, and thankfully, we discover it's not Noah who passed away, but Nick's mother. On that same day, Sophia speaks privately with Noah, asking what she plans to do once her belly grows and she can't hide the pregnancy anymore. Noah says she's leaving for her aunt's home in western Zimbabwe, where she'll stay and ensure no one can find her. That night, Noah visits Simon at his house and tells him there's some important news he needs to know. Meanwhile, Nicky's with Sophia, who tells him that everything at work is going perfectly. But Nick doesn't feel right. He's deeply unhappy and restless. He tells Sophia that they should end their relationship before it's too late, because what they have is based on mutual benefit, not love, and it's better for both of them to part ways. That's when Sophia finally loses her composure and confronts him with the truth. She tells him he's just a spoiled man who wants the world to bend to his will, that he chases after any woman who ignores him until he wins her over, only to get bored quickly and throw her aside like the others. Sophia goes on to call him selfish and arrogant, reminding him that he's been firing countless employees from their companies without caring how much those jobs mean to the workers themselves. She tells him that humanity is far more important than profit, that money isn't everything. There's nothing wrong with earning a little less if it means helping people, keeping families fed, and doing good for others. She reminds him that people are meant to use their wealth to make the world better, to share what they have, not just money, but feelings too. Then she mentions Noah, saying that she's sick and alone, yet Nick abandoned her. By the end of her speech, Sophia tells Nick to go check on Noah because she truly needs his support right now. Finally, she agrees to end their relationship, but only on one condition: that Nick goes to Noah, stands by her, and gives her the love she truly deserves. Nick thanks Sophia for opening his eyes and rushes to find Noah. On his way, he calls Simon, who tells him that he's broken up with Noah and is leaving the country. But Nick surprises him by saying he wants to collaborate and rehire all the employees who were unfairly dismissed. Simon is shocked, realizing just how much Nick has changed. Meanwhile, Michael goes to the hospital director to hear the results of the investigation and finds out that the hospital has decided to fire him. That means he won't be able to work in any other hospital again, as he's now officially dismissed for professional misconduct. Furious and bitter, Michael becomes dangerous and unstable. Later, he goes to see a patient who has refused to be examined by anyone but him, and to his shock, that patient turns out to be Briar. Elsewhere, Noah is saying goodbye to Jenna before leaving, but she's surprised when Nick suddenly shows up. He's come to stop her before she goes. Noah hides her baby bump behind a cat carrier and tries to avoid him, circling the car while Nick follows her around it. Nick pleads with her to forgive him and asks that they start over again, just the two of them. But Noah sadly tells him that it can't be just the two of them anymore, then reveals her belly, showing him that she's pregnant. Nick is stunned and tells her he's willing to raise the baby with her, no matter who the father is. Noah feels heartbroken because Nick assumes the child belongs to Simon. So, she leaves in her car. Lion then tells Nick the truth that the baby is actually his. Realizing this, Nick jumps into his car and races after Noah. When he catches up to her, Noah tells him she's 6 months pregnant. And when Nick does the math, he realizes it happened on Jenna and Lion's wedding day. Nick speeds up, chasing after her. But Noah, being a more skilled and faster driver, tries to get away. Finally, he manages to reach her and convinces her to stay with him. He promises they'll get married and spend their honeymoon together in Seals. But just as they arrive at the villa, a mysterious man is standing outside. It's the same worker from the beginning of the movie, the one Nick fired unfairly. The man suddenly pulls out a gun and shoots Nick. Nick collapses, bleeding and barely conscious, holding a small gift box he had bought for Noah, but can't give her. Noah falls to her knees beside him, heartbroken and devastated. Nick completely loses consciousness and is rushed to the hospital. When he finally wakes up, Noah is right by his side along with William and Noah's mother. They tell him he's been in a coma for a long time. Nick then learns that Noah has already given birth to their baby boy. The baby is beautiful, and Nick and Noah sit beside him, finally reunited as a happy little family. Nick gives Noah the gift he never had the chance to hand her, a heart-shaped necklace, and tells her that by giving it to her, he's giving her his heart forever. He promises that he'll spend the rest of his life with her and be a good man and a devoted father. Though Nick is still weak and hasn't fully recovered from his injury, their love fills the room with warmth. Later, Noah steps out to prepare some food and drinks, leaving Nick resting in bed. He drifts off to sleep for a while, but when he wakes up, he's horrified to find that his baby is gone. Suddenly, Briar appears, holding the newborn in her arms. Nick panics and begs her not to hurt the baby, saying the child is innocent and has nothing to do with what happened between them. But Briar's expression is filled with rage as she tells him, "You're about to see the darkest days of your life. Did you really think you'd get away so easily? You ruined my life, and now I'm going to ruin yours, bro." Nick tries to reach for his phone, but she quickly snatches it from him, unaware that he's managed to press the emergency alarm button. Downstairs, Noah hears Briar's voice shouting and rushes upstairs. Michael appears trying to stop her, but Noah fights him off and makes it to the room. She pleads with Briar to let go of the baby, but Briar screams that they destroyed her life and now she'll destroy theirs. She wants them to suffer the same pain and despair she endured. Then comes the shocking revelation. The accident that happened to Briar because of Nick left her unable to have children. She became infertile, and that's why she's here now seeking revenge. Briar grabs the baby and tries to flee, but their dog Thor blocks her path, growling fiercely and making her freeze in terror. Meanwhile, Michael decides to finish off Noah before leaving and to humiliate Nick as part of his revenge. But Nick manages to delay him long enough for Noah to escape. When Noah gets outside, she finds Thor the dog cornering Briar. She calms him down gently and tells him to go back inside. Then she turns to Briar and pleads with her to hand over the baby, promising she'll let her go if she does. But Briar, shaking and furious, yells, "This child is mine. I'll raise him myself." Upstairs, Nick looks at Michael and tells him, "Thor, my dog, will make sure you pay for what you've done." And right in cue, Thor bursts in, terrifying Michael and pushing him out the window, sending him crashing to the ground. Noah takes advantage of the chaos, overpowers Briar, and finally rescues her baby. Everything is safe at last. The police arrive and arrest Briar, while the ambulance takes Michael away. The family is finally at peace. In a voiceover, Noah says, "They say when a person is on the brink of death, their life flashes before their eyes like a movie or a novel. In that moment, all I could ever see were your eyes." Referring to Nick's, she continues, "When we lost hope, when we fell apart, when we couldn't control ourselves. The tattoo on Nick's hand that says 'You're mine' was the bond that kept us together forever." And finally, the wedding takes place. Everyone's happy, everyone's smiling. And yes, dear viewers, so are we, because after 3 long years, we finally get the ending we've been waiting for. During the wedding, Noah tosses her bouquet and it lands right in Sophia's hands. Lion jokes with Nick, telling him, "Go to the waterfall. You'll make magic there." And sure enough, the two lovers, Noah and Nick, whose names both start with the letter N, drive off together in the red luxury car from the first movie of the trilogy. I'm kidding, dear viewers. This is one of the best films ever made. And with that, our story ends in peace and happiness.